Your cabin steward might smile every time you walk by, but behind that polite grin, there's a list of things passengers do that secretly drive them crazy. From mysterious towel requests at midnight to turning your cabin into a personal laundry room. These habits make life on board way harder than you realize. Today, we pulling back the curtain on what your steward really wishes you stop doing. The habits that make even seasoned crew members cringe. And trust me, secret number 7 shocks even loyal cruisers who think they know ship life. Number 1. Leaving the cabin a disaster zone. Most cruisers don't realize this, but when you treat your cabin like a dumping ground, you're not just being messy, you're actually slowing down the entire ship's housekeeping system. On a recent Carnival cruise, a cabin steward said he once opened a stateroom door and froze. Clothes everywhere. Wet swimsuits on the carpet. Snack wrappers on the vanity. He couldn't even see the floor. It took him twice as long to clean that single cabin, which meant the next 5 guests on his list had to wait. By noon, he was running behind for the entire deck. And here's the thing. He couldn't skip a single step. Every room has to be vacuumed, disinfected, towels replaced, and bathrooms sanitized before the next round of service. If your steward spends an extra 15 minutes in your cabin, it doesn't just delay your fresh towels, it pushes back dozens of other cabins. That's why some rooms don't get cleaned until late afternoon. And yes, it's noticed by the supervisors, not the guests. A cluttered cabin throws off the whole rhythm of the housekeeping team. Treat your cabin like shared space, because, technically, it is. Use the underbed storage for bags. Hang clothes on the hooks or the closet. Keep the floor clear so your steward can work fast and efficiently. You'll get better service, faster cleanings, and a much happier crew, which means a smoother cruise for everyone. Number 2. Ignoring this service or do not disturb sign. It might seem like a tiny detail, but forgetting to flip that little service or do not disturb magnet on your door can throw your cabin steward's entire day into chaos. On Royal Caribbean's Oasis-class ships, one steward told me he spends nearly an hour every morning just knocking on doors, trying to figure out who's awake and who's not. He'll knock softly, wait, knock again, and half the time, someone yells, "We're sleeping." So he moves on, but then when he circles back, that same guest is gone, and now he's missed his cleaning window. Multiply that by 20 cabins, and suddenly, he's 2 hours behind before lunch even starts. And it's not laziness. Stewards work on a precise rotation to make sure everyone gets serviced before midday inspections. When guests forget to signal their room status, it breaks that rotation. That's why your cabin might still be uncleaned after 3 p.m., or your towels aren't replaced before dinner. It's not neglect, it's scheduling chaos caused by unclear signs. And when that happens, the steward ends up rushing through cleanings just to catch up, which means lower quality service for everyone on that hallway. Make it a habit. The moment you leave for breakfast or a shore excursion, flip the magnet to service. When you're done for the night, switch it to do not disturb. That tiny 2-second habit keeps your steward on schedule and guarantees your room stays spotless all cruise long. Number 3. Treating the steward like personal room service. Your cabin steward isn't your private butler, and treating them like one is one of the quickest ways to burn out the hardest working people on the ship. On a Carnival Horizon sailing, a steward shared that one guest demanded fresh ice 3 times a day, extra hangers, a few more pillows, and even asked if the steward could run to the buffet to grab croissants every morning. The guest thought it was harmless. After all, they tipped early and smiled. But what they didn't realize is that stewards are responsible for up to 25 cabins each. Every extra small favor adds minutes to their workload. And those minutes? They stack up into hours. By the end of the day, that steward is rushing, skipping breaks, and still smiling like nothing's wrong. Most passengers never see what happens behind the scenes. Stewards have strict checklists, sanitizing bathrooms, replacing linens, vacuuming, refreshing balconies, all before lunch. So when one guest treats them like personal assistants, it delays every other cabin on their route. That's why sometimes your evening turndown arrives late or towels aren't restocked on time. Someone else's quick favor ate up the schedule. Save special requests for things that actually improve your stay, extra towels, fixing AC, or cleaning after seasickness. For anything else, call guest services or room service. That's what they're there for. When you respect your steward's workload, you'll always get better service. and genuine gratitude from the crew that keeps your cruise running smoothly. Number 4. Leaving wet towels everywhere. It might not sound like a big deal, but leaving wet towels scattered across your cabin is one of the grossest and most frustrating habits cruise stewards deal with daily. On an MSC seaside sailing, a steward described cabins where damp pool towels were left draped over chairs, beds, even the TV stand. Within hours, the cabin smelled like a wet locker room. When humidity on the ship is high, which it almost always is, those towels don't dry. They just get musty. Worse, the moisture seeps into furniture and carpets, creating a lingering odor that's nearly impossible to remove in one cleaning cycle. The steward has to spend extra time spraying disinfectant and air fresheners instead of focusing on the detailed cleaning you actually want. When towels are left soaking on the floor or bed, the steward has to handle them carefully to avoid mildew spreading to clean linens. It slows the cleaning process, shortens towel lifespans, and sometimes forces staff to replace items mid-cruise. That means more laundry loads, more delays, and fewer fresh towels for everyone else. After you shower or return from the pool, hang your towel on the drying line or bathroom rack. That's exactly what it's there for. If it's done, leave it neatly in the shower for pickup. It's a simple habit that keeps your room fresher, your steward happier, and your next towel perfectly crisp and dry. Number 5. Sneaking in personal appliances. Most cruisers think bringing a personal iron or mini steamer is no big deal, but here's the truth. Those harmless gadgets are fire hazards at sea. A steward on the Carnival Panorama recalled a terrifying moment when a guest left a curling iron plugged in while heading to a shore excursion. The steward smelled smoke, rushed in, and found the plastic vanity beginning to melt. The fire alarm didn't trigger, but it could have. Even something as small as a travel kettle or clothing steamer draws more power than the cabin circuit can handle. Cruise lines ban these items for a reason. Ships use specialized electrical systems that can overload fast. And when a spark happens at sea, there's nowhere to call the fire department. Your steward becomes the first responder. When contraband appliances are discovered, it's the steward who gets questioned first. They're required to report violations during cabin inspections, even if they personally like you. Ignoring the rules doesn't just risk your safety. It puts the crew's jobs on the line. One overlooked rule, one bad plug, and your dream vacation turns into an emergency drill. Leave irons, kettles, and steamers at home. Every major cruise line, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, NCL, MSC, offers pressing or laundry services on board, often same day. If you need hot water, just call room service. Follow the ship's safety policies and your steward will thank you, quietly, but sincerely. You'll enjoy peace of mind knowing you're not one spark away from disaster. Number 6. Leaving trash or food out overnight. If you've ever left half a pizza on your balcony or an empty plate on the desk thinking, I'll toss it tomorrow, you've just triggered your cabin steward's worst nightmare. An NCL steward once shared how a couple left an untouched fruit platter outside overnight. By morning, seagulls had torn the plastic wrap apart, flung fruit chunks across the balcony, and splattered sticky juice onto the glass railings and carpet. It took an extra 40 minutes to clean, and the smell lingered for days. On another sailing, late-night room service trays with leftover fries attracted ants into the hallway. Yes, even cruise ships battle pests when food sits out. The steward had to call sanitation, delaying service for multiple cabins that morning. Trash left overnight doesn't just look bad, it becomes a health and sanitation issue. Cruise ships operate under strict cleanliness inspections. When one cabin fails, it reflects on the entire housekeeping team. Stewards can face write-ups if inspectors spot food waste, even if it wasn't their fault. Plus, bad odors spread fast through shared ventilation, and that's why your cabin sometimes smells stale after day 3. When you're done eating, seal leftovers and place trays neatly outside before you sleep. Or, better yet, call for trash pickup. It's included in your fare. A quick cleanup means your steward can focus on details like fresh linens and folded towels instead of battling fruit flies. Respect the cleanliness rules, and your room will stay as fresh as embarkation day. Number 7. Hiding contraband and expecting them to ignore it. Here is a truth most passengers never hear. Your cabin steward isn't looking to bust you. But if they find something banned, they have no choice but to report it. A longtime Royal Caribbean steward shared this story. Mid-cruise, he discovered a stash of liquor bottles hidden in a trash bin and a vape tucked behind the TV. The guests had been friendly all week, but ship policy is strict. If a steward ignores contraband, they risk losing their job on the spot. So he followed procedure, called security, and within minutes the items were confiscated. The guests were furious, claiming, "Everyone brings a little something." But the steward had no wiggle room. Every crew member signs a safety and conduct agreement. One report ignored could end their contract instantly. When passengers sneak in alcohol, irons, or vapes, they not just breaking the rules, they putting the crew in an impossible position. If security later finds the item and traces it back to a cabin that was just cleaned, the steward takes the heat. And yes, these reports go into personnel records. One false move can cost them months of income and their next contract. Follow the ship's policies. They're clearly listed before boarding. Want a drink? Order through the bar or grab a drink package. Want a vape? Use designated areas. Never make your steward choose between your convenience and their career. The best cruisers respect the crew, and that respect always comes back to you. Number 8. Demanding instant room refreshes. Most passengers think their steward is waiting right outside the door with fresh towels, but on a cruise ship, that couldn't be further from the truth. An MSC Seashore cabin steward explained that on sea days, she's responsible for more than 24 cabins, spread across multiple decks. Her cleaning route is timed down to the minute. Yet, several times a day, she gets urgent calls from guests demanding a quick refresh, often just 10 minutes after she has already been there. One couple even called guest services because their bed wasn't remade right after an afternoon nap. The truth? She was halfway across the ship, sanitizing a new arrival cabin. She still had to drop everything, run back, and redo what had already been spotless. Every unscheduled call like that breaks her flow, and when one steward falls behind, the entire team feels it. It's not about laziness, it's logistics. There's a rotation designed so every guest gets 2 full services daily. When passengers demand instant cleanings, others down the line end up waiting, and everyone's experience suffers. Remember your steward's rhythm, morning and evening service. If you need something extra, say you spilled a drink or need new towels, ask politely and give them time. A calm request goes miles further than a frustrated call. Respect their schedule, and you'll get faster, friendlier service every single time. Number 9. Treating the steward like invisible staff. Here's one that every cabin steward secretly wishes they could say out loud. Being ignored hurts more than being complained to. On a Princess Cruises voyage, a steward told me about a couple he'd cleaned for all week. He greeted them every morning with a smile, folded their towels into dolphins, even left little towel hearts on Valentine's Day. But not once did they look up or say thank you. They'd walk past him in the hallway like he didn't exist. The same week, another guest on the same floor greeted him by name every day, even offered him a coffee on day 3. Guess which cabin got every extra towel folded perfectly and turned down chocolates replaced when they ran low? Respect isn't just polite. It changes how motivated your crew feels to go the extra mile. Stewards work 10 to 14 hours daily, often with no days off for months. Their energy comes from gratitude, not just tips. When guests act dismissive, it drains morale fast. And low morale? That spreads like wildfire through the crew. Happy stewards create cleaner cabins, faster service, and friendlier hallways. Cold guests get the bare minimum. Next time you pass your steward, say their name. It's usually on the welcome card in your room. A simple "Thanks, Maria," or "Appreciate you, John," can make their whole day. You'll be amazed how much better your service feels when you treat the crew like part of your crew's family, not invisible workers. Number 10. Over-tipping on day 1, then demanding the world. A lot of cruisers think handing over a 20 on embarkation day guarantees VIP treatment all week, but here's the uncomfortable truth. Early tipping with strings attached can actually backfire. On the Carnival breeze, a veteran steward told me about a guest who slipped him $20 the moment they met, winked, and said, "Take good care of us." You know what I mean. That same night, the request started. Extra ice twice a day, towels folded into something different, pillows swapped for softer ones, and constant knocks for more water bottles. By day 3, the steward admitted he dreaded that cabin. What started as a nice gesture turned into an unspoken contract. And here's the kicker. when he had to clean 24 other rooms. That constant attention to one demanding guest meant someone else's cabin got delayed. Cruise stewards value appreciation, not manipulation. They know when a tip is genuine and when it's a bribe. Early performance pay sets unrealistic expectations and piles stress onto already full schedules. You might think you're buying better service, but you're really just buying tension. And the guests who quietly tip at the end for excellent service? Those are the ones crews never forget. Let your steward do their job first. Be kind, patient, and communicative throughout the cruise. Then, if they've gone above and beyond, tip generously at the end with a thank you note. True appreciation, not control, earns the best service at sea. Number 11. Blocking hallways with luggage or laundry bags. If you've ever parked your suitcase or laundry bag outside your door for just a minute, you've accidentally broken one of the biggest unspoken rules on board. Don't block the steward's highway. On embarkation day aboard the Norwegian Encore, a cabin steward described the hallways as an obstacle course of rolling luggage. Guests were unpacking, socializing, and leaving half-open suitcases outside their cabins to make space inside. What most don't realize is that those narrow hallways are the crew's workspace. Stewards push large supply carts filled with towels, bedding, cleaning gear, and one blocked path can stall an entire cleaning route. One steward even said he once clipped a guest's designer bag with his cart by accident, and the guest demanded compensation. Yet, the steward had no room to maneuver because luggage was everywhere. When guests clutter hallways, stewards waste precious time detouring around obstacles or waiting for items to be moved. It slows down room service, delays cleanings, and violates safety codes. In an emergency drill, those same obstructions could block evacuation routes, something cruise inspectors take very seriously. Once you unpack, store your suitcases under the bed. That space is designed for them. Keep hallways completely clear. When you send out laundry, hang the bag inside your door and hand it directly to your steward. A clutter-free corridor isn't just polite. It keeps everyone safe and lets your steward do their job efficiently, which means your room stays spotless and on schedule. Number 12. Expecting off-the-menu requests. Here's something that drives cabin stewards absolutely crazy. Guests who expect custom services the ship simply doesn't offer, then get angry when told no. On a Royal Caribbean Anthem of the Seas sailing, one steward said a honeymoon couple asked for fresh rose petals on the bed every night. Sweet, right? The problem? There wasn't a single fresh flower on board. The ship's florist only stocked arrangements for weddings and VIP suites. Still, the couple insisted, even complaining to guest services when the steward brought folded towel roses instead. That extra time spent trying to please them meant other cabins got their turn-down service late. And it happens constantly. Guests asking for memory foam pillows, special food deliveries, or even for the steward to find a specific drink from another deck. These unrealistic requests put stewards in a lose-lose position. They want to make you happy, but they can conjure up amenities that don't exist. Every minute spent chasing impossible favors pulls them away from cleaning, sanitizing, and serving guests with realistic needs. It's stressful, demoralizing, and totally preventable. Before you ask, check what's actually included. 4 special touches: flowers, cakes, decor. Contact guest services or special requests before you're sailing. Or book a suite-level cabin that includes personalized service. When you stay within what's offered, your steward can focus on delivering excellent service, not apologizing for things beyond their control. Be kind, be clear, and you'll always get the best care on board. Number 13. Forgetting they're human too. This last one might be the most important of all. The thing every cabin steward wishes passengers would finally understand. They're not machines. They're human beings who sacrifice more than you know. On the Norwegian getaway, a steward shared that he hadn't seen his family in 8 months. He works 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, cleaning 25 cabins daily. No weekends. No sick days. Yet, he still greets every guest with a smile because that's part of the job. But what really breaks them, he said, isn't the long hours. It's when guests treat them like they don't matter. When someone complains harshly about a small mistake or tosses a towel on the floor without a word, it chips away at their motivation. Another steward on Carnival celebration admitted that one simple thank you note from a guest made her cry. She'd been on the ship for months without a single word of kindness. Crews live on board for half the year or more. They share tiny cabins, work nonstop, and still deliver top-tier service. When passengers are rude or dismissive, it doesn't just ruin a day, it wears down the entire spirit of the team. And when morale drops, service quality eventually follows. Treat your steward the way you'd want your family treated at work. Smile. Say thank you. Tip fairly. Leave your cabin tidy. Those small gestures remind them they revalued. And that energy comes right back in the form of better service, warmer smiles, and a more meaningful cruise experience for you. Let us be honest. Your cabin steward is the hardest working person you'll meet on your cruise. They're up before sunrise, cleaning rooms before you've had your first coffee, and still smiling long after you've hit the buffet for a midnight snack. But behind that smile are the small frustrations that most cruisers never think about. The messy cabins, the unrealistic requests, the late-night towel piles, and the guests who forget they're talking to a real human being. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. The little things you do make a huge difference. Flip the service sign. Hang your towels. Follow the rules. Say thank you. Those tiny gestures add up to a smoother cruise for you, and a better day for the person keeping your floating home spotless. Because when you treat your crew with respect and kindness, you don't just get a cleaner cabin, you build a connection. You'll notice your steward remembering your name, adding small touches, and genuinely caring that you're having a great vacation. So if you learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which of these 13 secrets surprised you most. And if you're ready for your next cruise insider scoop, don't miss our next video. Backhand index pointing right, 11 cruise hacks that save you thousands. Cruise lines hate these. Because trust me, some of those new rules will shock even the most loyal cruisers.